podcast constituents. It's been a moment since I've had a chance to chat with you, but allow me to say Happy New Year. 2022 is going to be an interesting and challenging year. This podcast started almost a year ago, next month. And I've talked about different topics as it pertains to laying the foundation for early literacy. And I want to stay with that. But I want to talk today a little bit about some of what I see happening, and as I talk to people around the country, just the impact of this COVID-19. It has disrupted education for more than 2 years. On again, off again, in school, out of school, homeschool, virtual school. And it's just disruptive. Because if you understand the nature of children and how they best learn, it's the best information that we have is that children learn in an environment that is safe, in an environment where there's a teacher at resources, and he or she works at providing information on knowledge and skills as they are interacting with the children. Now, that process has been disrupted, and for some, it's been a major disruption. As I talk with folks around the country, the virtual has its pluses and minuses. It has its good points and it has its bad points. As I talk with some friends who are watching their children and grandchildren, you know, in many cases, the children are just playing and not attending to what they should be doing. So the importance of what I'm saying is that we need to really look at how this COVID-19 is affecting our children. And children will let you know how they are feeling and what some of the disruptions are. So today I want to share with you some things that you might want to do as your children are trying to get back in school and coming home from school. And you want to know how they feel. You know, you see a lot today that talks about children's social and emotional learning. And that is what is impacting their behavior. Their inability to touch, their inability to sit next to, their inability to do the things that children have been used to doing. So what you hear now is a new normal. That day is over. If that's the case, then we need to know what adjustments are being made and how those adjustments are impacting children. So I want you to stay with me for just a few moments and to try to get some sense of what children are experiencing under this new normalcy. And just by asking and attending to what they're saying to you. How do you feel? How are things at school? Do you feel safe? If not, why not? And allow them to express their feelings to you and to affirm to them that you are there to support them. You are there to do the things that will assist them. Now, what I'm also hearing is that children are also demonstrating some unusual behavior in school just because of how this COVID is impacting them. And so you also have to be set for this unusual behavior, throwing things, hitting, whatever. And so that's why I said, so we have to look at the children's social emotional behavior right now. And you're having to help them to empathize with these emotions so that they can figure out ways of building different kinds of relationships with their friends and the kinds of relationships with their children. Sometimes the behavior that you're seeing can be overwhelming, and sometimes it causes, you're not sure what to do. But you have to be patient with them, not to fuss at them, to let them know that we'll somehow get through this, and it's not going to be forever. But that's easier said than done. So when you're talking about anyone's emotions, we have a tendency to act out. So all I'm sharing with you, podcast audience, is that to be sensitive to what we're seeing. If there's a difference in the children's behavior, how do we best respond to it? One is to be calm. You as the adult in that situation is to be calm, because if you heighten your emotions, all it does, it has a tendency to make the situation worse. And that's not what our children need at this point in time. So we'll figure it out. And if there's uncertainty, then you can always call the school counselor and to see what assistance he or she can offer you, and to share with them what you're seeing in the children, and try to work together, because it's the school community that establishes the environment for the children. Having said that, let me go back to something I started over a year ago, nearly a year ago. And I asked the parents at that time to go with me on a journey so that we could lay a solid foundation so that our children could develop the knowledge and skills necessary for the literacy foundation. So over the course of the year, I've talked about a variety of topics from newborns all the way through the preschool. Next month, during Black History Month, I'm going to shift. And I'm going to shift because what I want to do is to demonstrate through a kit that I've developed. It's called PEEP, Parent Education for Excellence in Preschools. It's a mini classroom. And I want to do some demonstration lessons to show the parents how to best use these items with the children to help lay that foundation. The key word here is an investment, to have these tools to enable you to do the kinds of things that help to lay that foundation in reading, that foundation in arithmetic, in math, that foundation in science. The forthcoming newsletter is going to focus on STEM, S-T-E-M, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That is the language that is going on in a lot of schools. And in some cases you hear STEM, some cases you hear STEAM. The fundamental difference is that in STEAM, they add the arts to it. But in STEM, the entire focus is on the scientific method and the scientific process. So when you get that newsletter, just pay attention to that, because that is what is driving the curriculums in many schools today. So with that as a backdrop, again, I wanted to rekindle our connection as I bring you these chats from Lighthouse relative to laying that literacy foundation. So remember, as you pay attention to your children's behavior, it's attending to their feelings, what they're sensitive to, what's bothering them, and how to best get some resolve to that. So today's podcast wanted to bring forth that information to you, but I'm looking forward to the new direction that the podcast will take. It's going to have some YouTube clips showing how this kit can be used in the home and how you can gain access to the kit And we'll look forward to having a time where you can see me doing demonstration lessons. And even we're trying to figure out how you can, if you have questions, how you can get those questions back to me and I can respond to them. So I'm looking forward to a new adventure from the podcast as we move into 1 year of Chats with Baba. And this 1 year is going to take on a new dimension of doing demonstration lessons through YouTube. So you out there in the podcast world, have a great day. And remember, your child's future starts with an early, solid foundation of learning. Have a good day.